Yeah, probably trust the solo laners. They always 1v1s. So it'll probably end up being solo laners first, and then ADC, and then the jungler and support, just because it's really embarrassing if you're a mid laner or ADC and lose to a jungler 1v1, because you're meant to have more mechanics than they are. But generally probably Swiffer and Swiper with the most experienced 1v1ers.
Welcome back to the IWCA, where the final round of the 1v1 tournament is about to get underway between Oceania of Team Ice and Team Fire's Southeast Asian All-Stars. And just a reminder before we get into it, here's how it works. Our 1v1s will be played on the Howling Abyss. The first player to get a kill, 100 CS, or destroy a tower will win. But more than just that, everything is on the line for both of these lineups.
Okay, I need to address my people here, Sifa. So, Oceania, this is your chance. Through the systematic collapse of every other team in Team Ice, all you have to do is win a single shootout in the 1v1 to advance.
We talked about it earlier today. We said it could potentially happen. It might happen. Everything had to come together. Every single team on Team Ice had to lose for Oceania to be here. But here we are.
Yep.
And they have a shot.
Get your koalas up. Everyone get them up in the air. I need to see them on Twitter, online, because your team, they need you guys behind them.
But of course, it's not just OCE, but also Southeast Asia, who does have everything on the line. Now, keep in mind that they do need to get a 4-1 record overall to win, because it is decided on 1v1 head-to-head record, and currently Brazil has 3-2. So if they pull out a 4-1, Southeast Asia can also qualify, taking the third spot in Team Fire, going up against Turkey in the bracket stage. But for Oceania, this is it. And for Latin America, similarly Latin America South, there's so much pressure on all these lineups. So, Rusty, what do you think we're going to see here?
I mean, I can tell you that, like, 4 strong players on C, if that's what it requires to win, they have 4 of those in the way of 1v1s. They've got QTV, who used to be a mid laner. Obviously, it means he's gone 2 solo lanes, knows how to 1v1. Levy, big threat.
Absolutely. Levy, massive. 13, 3, and 8 is KDA in the assassin mode. 64% kill participation. An insane Kha'Zix performance. So, honestly, how do you think they stack up against the Chiefs?
I think, and it's not the Chiefs, to be fair.
Team Oceania. I think they stack up. Former Chiefs members and Carbon. Sorry.
Yes, I think they stack up quite well. I look at most of the C side and say they're really good at 1v1ing. In particular, looking at who they're against, Celebrity and Radar in comparison. One has just come out of retirement for this tournament, has not been playing as many games. Optimus, very good mid lane mechanical player, and that's the thing that C have, mechanics. And if they think about this and can pick the champions, there's a real chance they can cause some kind of cheese and just get free wins.
All right, well, we continue to see, is it going to be Tom Kench, Nasus farming out? Remember that the final tiebreaker decider is, of course, game time. So in the event that SEA does go 3-2, there is still a chance if they kill everyone very, very quickly, that they can go on. So do you think we're just going to see a bunch of aggressive champions, or a team's going to take the kind of the safe bet here?
Well, I think Oceania has to take the safe route and just play cheesy champions that don't really rely on mechanics and more just matchup. So something like Nasus, Tom Kench. I think those kind of champions are something that Oceania should favor.
And then on the other side, since the time rule does exist, that means that it's more advantageous for Southeast Asia to look for the fast skirmish fights. Likewise, it also fits into their wheelhouse of like their identities. Like Rusty was saying, there are so many 1v1 individual threats throughout the Southeast Asia roster.
Yeah, absolutely something we have to consider. But of course, looking at this, we saw Tom Kench Nasus yesterday. So, looking at it, Kennen, Quinn, are we just going to see those champions continue to be banned out? Or teams going to take the risk? Is there any chance of like a Nasus Mir or a Tom Kench Mir? Is there any new pick you expect to see today?
Lee Sin.
Yeah, I think we'll see Lee Sin.
Really? Yeah, Levy.
I think we'll just play it. There's a chance that Carbon, if they get jungle off, will match up and play against him. But I think we'll see lots of Nunu again. We'll probably see tanks from the side of Oceania.
I don't think Lee Sin is so good in 1v1.
I don't think he's good in 1v1. I just think Levy will play
all
it.
right. Well, we will find out, but the players are now ready and standing by. So let's send it over to our casters to get this final 1v1 set underway.
Thank you very much, Sifa. And hello, esports fans. I'm Devin Pyrotechnic. Of course, I'm joined by Andy. Vedius Day. He's not walking off the set this time around. How's it going, man?
I'm good. I'm free from Sifa's puns. I have joined you for a pun-free environment.
So he thinks. We'll find out.
You better not.
Nah, just keep this one rolling. Okay. This is going to be a good set. I mean, this is what Oceania was saying at the beginning of the tournament. All they have to do is win. Well, that's all on them this time around. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first contestants here in the 1v1. It is going to be representing OCE, Radier.
The legend himself from Oceania going up against Celebrity. We have AD Carry versus AD Carry. This is going to be quite exciting. Now, something that Radier has been criticized for is his mechanics a little bit. He has retired from professional play. He is now a lawyer. The question is, can he use his skills of manipulation and getting to the truth to defeat his opponent?
Objection, Vedius, because I think Celebrity, you can levy some of the same criticisms at him. He's definitely had a few troubles in mechanics, but ADC versus ADC should be a pretty balanced matchup. Curious to see actually
Caitlyn, maybe, or
I
maybe
really
your
don't want
specialty,
to.
Urgot VMF.
Why are you revealing all my secrets? Urgot is a fantastic choice in any situation, just like pretty much any role. But in a 1v1, obviously, like, you know, you don't.
I mean, you won, didn't you, Byra? You won.
I did. Yeah.
So
now the entire world knows about it. But I think also we could see some of the Ezreals. An MF might come up, but there is always the threat of the Tom Kench. That's always a possibility.
I mean, the Tom Kench took me by surprise.
It took a lot of people by surprise.
I was like, surely Tom Kench can't be that good. And then he went for the all-in with the snowball too.
Yeah.
And speaking of the snowball, we haven't actually seen very much usage of it, which surprises me a little bit. Perhaps if we see more melee champions come through, it'll be more effective. But the only real melees we've seen are things like Nasus, who has primarily gone for the, I'm going to farm and go for 100 CS, or maybe they just try and out-kill a LeBlanc. I mean, one or the other. 1v1s are very unpredictable. We have no idea what entirely we're going to see. Because there is no real established meta other than let's ban Caitlyn, let's ban Syndra, let's ban all the really strong stuff.
Try to kill the opponent, or if you can't kill it, just go ahead and get all the farm if you possibly can. We've even seen a few towers close to falling down, but we're going to load into the champion selection. Each side, the 3 bans. It's going to be Lucian. Raider doesn't want to be giving that one away.
Lucian's quite an interesting ban. Caitlyn's still available. Cassiopeia still up as well. The reason why I think Lucian's a little bit surprising is because he's had so many hits for quite a long time.
This one's a little more expected, though. The Tom Kench, they're not really going to give him a chance. Vel'Koz, we did see it win a game that wasn't against the
Saros
Draven.
brought it out. Yes. And that actually went to 100 CS. It was quite close in terms of farm, but the Vel'Koz and the Draven couldn't actually kill each other.
It was close, though.
It was very close. It just came down to a last few CS that really decided it.
Okay, so the Caitlyn's banned away, so now a couple of AD carries hit, but Caitlyn much more expected. We still could see the Ezreal.
Yeah, Misfortune still up to Cassio.
Corki played. I wasn't a huge fan of it, to be honest.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Corki earlier on in the day.
Wasn't a huge fan of that either.
That was a little bit too much Corki. But we did also hear the analysts talk a little bit about possibly Lee Sin. Yes, coming out later on in the 1v1 tournament, but he's still something that could come out. Quite an interesting ban rounding out.
This is actually something I think is super legit in the 1v1, because you can just max blinding dart, and then if the enemy takes something that's like auto attack based, they literally can never touch you.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. But, well, we won't be seeing it today, Parrot. It has been taken off the board.
Not this round, anyway.
I thought that maybe he was trying to spell something funny, but LVT.
He needs an F instead of the V band. So
looking for team.
Yeah, LeBlanc. Okay, there's banned away. That's nice. But Radier is going the best strategy.
Whoa, now, don't talk about hovers.
Hovers.
Don't talk about hovers. You know the bait, Pyra. They always like to try and catch you by surprise.
Well, I don't believe the Callista. There's no point to take that.
Nah, you couldn't really bind it with anyone. I mean, she still, now, well, you say that last year in the wild card, she was fairly successful. I believe it was
different
Prey.
meta, though, too.
Prey did bring it out.
Callista was a lot stronger at that point.
Very true. But there we are, Pyra. Your Urgot has been locked in. So
excellent.
As the resident Urgot expert, why don't you run us through some of his strengths?
All right, well, the big point about Urgot is that once you're able to nail your Eon, you can start just launching Acid Hunters, and you can pop out the bush, you can pop out. He has a really, really good range once he's actually locked on, and the Terra Capacitor gives him an extra bit of stats so he can stand up 1-on-1. That's the big draw for Urgot. He's not like particularly mobile. He's not particularly stronger in just like a pound-for-pound matchup, but you just need to land the E, and then you can start launching. You can hide behind the mini-wave, and you can get your 1v1 finish without being in danger.
His ult, too. I mean, you have those sneaky plays where if they get a little bit too close to the turret, Callista does have a fairly short range. If she's trying to get the shove on up against the Urgot, you could punish it with a sneaky ultimate, and then, hey, you're underneath my turret. You know, like, there are all sorts of outplays, but Callista actually going for the Exhaust Ignite. Now, this is very risky against an Urgot, because you know, as you were rightly saying, that Acid Hunter can be very devastating if he can actually set up for that damage.
But you do have the sidestep ability, so you can dodge out a little bit of the range of the AoE. I'm still a little concerned, though, because this ultimate just will not be utilized at all, so you're down one spell from the get-go.
Yeah, but that means you can max rend faster, Pyra.
That's very true. You don't need to actually take your
Pyra,
I guess that's a trade-off, so that's pretty good. I mean, I'm curious to see how it works. It's the first time we've seen the Callista in the 1v1 this year, and, well, not the first time we've seen the Urgot, just in professional play.
Yeah, just in professional. Well, we did actually see it the other day come out victorious.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's right, I'm totally wrong.
Yeah, it did manage
we're
to
gonna
work
find out.
But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Oceania's last hope, and they've put 2 European casters on.
Yes. A bit of an odd thematic choice here as Radier is going to run straight for the front.
Celebrity.
Face checking.
Here we go.
Autos. Oh, he puts the exhaust on early. No ignite spent, but he's going to use it now. Celebrity has to rend early. There's the counter exhaust. Celebrity's going to have to back after that.
So that was smart from Celebrity. Held onto the exhaust until his had ran out. He wanted to see whether or not Radier was going to go for the all-in. And once he realized, yes, Raidier's coming for me, he then used his exhaust, bought him enough time to disengage, so now he can go back to base with a summoner spell advantage.
Remember, the key for OPL right now is they need to win 3 out of 5. They just need to win this entire thing. It doesn't matter about the timing so much because they would have the winning head-to-head. However, for Team Fire, for SCA, they need to not only win, but they need to do it very fast or win very convincingly. So
win all
they cannot
5
afford
games, yeah.
at least 4. They cannot afford to take their time with this one. So Celebrity is already going to be pushed a little bit further back, but he does have that ignite advantage.
Now, I'm curious as to the maxing order that Celebrity is going to go for. Will he take a couple early points in his W, or will he just go straight for the QE sort of max? Because you have to remember that you cannot proc the second mark of the W without a teammate. So you only really have 2 abilities that you can take full advantage of, Fyra.
Yeah, and you can't even use all your item slots, but I don't think we'll get to that point, fortunately.
Well, we'll have to wait and find out. Is the initial harassment coming out from Celebrity, level 2.
He's getting quite a few
Ignite.
spears stacked in there. He's just got to close that distance, but there's no flash. He's just going to have to rend. That's going to be Radier backing off, and now the advantage is Callistus.
Great start for Celebrity. You can see the 2 teams. OPL already feeling the pressure, but still, Radier. Oh, he decided not to go back. Needs to pick up this very important farm, and this is actually great for him. Remember the turret damage, that always catches me off guard.
Miss those minions, though.
Yeah, it's very harsh when you get shoved underneath your turret. It can be so devastating.
He's low. If Celebrity, well, he's low as well, but if Celebrity gets the jump on him around the side, lands a couple of stacks and then is able to all in him. Now that is a timely spawn of the health relic.
Level 3 now for both AD carries. Radier looking to posture aggressively. Look at the mana pull for Celebrity.
Okay, not a whole lot left in the tank there, but Celebrity's going to run forward, hit the rend. Last second, he needs some mana, and he's going to walk back towards the health relic. Raider's still playing with fire here.
He certainly is, but he's mindful of the fact that his summoner spells will come up before Celebrity as well. So he's just playing around the fact that, hey, I know you're going to have exhaust the same time as me, so you're not likely to hard commit and until my summoner spells are up, right?
Right,
so,
and they're keeping themselves within striking distance in the CS, so you just kind of sit in this holding pattern until you have your summoner spells available. Celebrity can't take advantage of that window, and he'll be able to keep on pushing. It's kind of the same thing we saw in your 1v1.
So, so for those interested in the expertise of the 1 versus 1, Radier has decided to put 2 points in his Q and only 1 point in the E so far. Celebrity looks like he's actually just maxing out the Rem. But now, yeah, so he's only taking points in his Q and in his E. So there's no point taking the W. You can't get that much effectiveness out of it. And you can see Radier feeling like, hang on a second. This is all screwed up. Why does the tower do more damage? But it looks like he's getting the feel of it now.
Yeah, it takes a little while to get used to, but even though Radier had given up a bit of farm, he's still only 2 down, and as Celebrity backs, you see he does the very conventional strategy of picking up as many swords as he can buy.
That's what you want to do. Ooh, interesting that Radier has actually decided to go for a bit of cloth armor.
Well, this is part of the advantage of Urgot. He can be a little bit tankier. He hasn't actually now he has put a point into his Terra Capacitor, so he'll have a little bit extra shield. Obviously, it scales more off mana, but you add a little bit of armor in the mix, and it's hard to calculate exactly how much Celebrity needs to all in.
It also makes sense to put points in it as well, because while you've got the shield on, your Qs also apply a slow too, so you get that extra bit of CC. It makes it easier to do even more damage, so stacking that up, putting an extra point in that, will give you a slightly less damage than the Callista simply because she's got more points in her damaging abilities. But overall, it does benefit Urgot's entire trade path.
Yeah, but you just keep an eye out for the Noxine Corrosive Charge. If he's able to land it on Celebrity, just like that, he can start to fire a couple of on-lock hits, and it even makes it easier to farm a little bit. So Celebrity's going to have to be really quick on the footwork, try and dodge around, but you can see neither of them are super interested in all-inning yet, despite the fact that they do have both of their summoner spells available, waiting for that level 6, at least for Radier.
I mean, the problem for Radier right now is that his mana pool is actually very small, and he's only level 5, hasn't actually taken any additional AD items other than the Doran's Blade, which means that his Q actually doesn't even do that much damage for the time being. And with Celebrity sitting in the farm lead, he's feeling pretty comfortable for now.
Yeah, Celebrity's able to just keep farming it up. It's only 3 CS, but that can mean the difference at the end of the day. Radier, intense concentration on his face. Same for Celebrity. It's all on the line here for both these teams. They need victories to push themselves ahead.
I gotta say, Rusty was not kidding when you look at Radier's posture. That is 1, key in and focus, man. I mean, look,
That is how you play a video game.
I mean,
that is a healthy way to do it.
I mean, I'm always slouching. I'm basically, my entire body's over the screen. But, like, that is some pristine posture right there.
Very good example of the proper thing to do. And, well, Raider's going to have to back off. Still 3 CS down. Let's see what he picks up. I would like to see a little bit of mana, at least mana regeneration, but he's not going to get the chance yet. He's been stopped by Celebrity.
This is the problem. He's been taking a lot of poke from the Ren stacks that Celebrity's been doing a great job of stacking. Raider, you need to be careful.
That was a greedy back. He needed to step
was.
way behind this turret way earlier, and now look at how much CS he's going to lose over this.
I mean, he might just stick around to pick up the farm. No, he's going to commit. He's going to go back, pick himself up that Glacial Shroud.
There we go. So that's going to give him the extra mana and a little bit of CDR so he can launch a few more of his, not only Noxing Corrosive charges, but his Acid Hunters.
Yep. And he has actually decided to take a point in his ultimate, which I feel like this early on is a little bit surprising, but I guess he feels that he wants to use it for the all-in potential.
Yeah, it's all bait. I mean, you have to respect the distance he can close. We've seen Urgots time and time again do it. Just right under the tower. It can make all the difference.
So
6.5 minutes.
Interesting that Kalista decided to stick around. Wanted to wait for a bit more gold to pick up the Phage. So now Celebrity has 2 Doran's Blades and that extra item on top, which is going to give Celebrity a fair amount of health, a fair amount of damage too, and will actually give him a bit more kite ability, which is going to be extremely valuable against this Urgot.
Yeah, as long as he's able to dodge the corrosive charges, Raider's going to get at least 1 more pot shot off. Celebrity does grab the health relic, pierce through. He's playing dangerous games here right now. There's a level disadvantage. He's got a lot of spears sticking in him, and they're going to get pulled right on out. Can't land another Acid Hunter.
Raider definitely feels like he's on the back foot. Celebrity is just managing these Ren stacks so effectively, constantly getting out with the superior trades, always forcing Raider on the back foot. And even though he's able to land a few of these Acid Hunters, Celebrity's just constantly disengaging, and Raider's really not getting very many advantages off the back of it.
Yeah, he's missing some minions too. It's rough. The timing is window is just not quite where it needs to be for him. So he's losing out on farm very slowly but surely. 9 CS now, the difference, as he can't quite land an Acid Hunter onto Celebrity.
Thing is, though, in this situation, you have to realize the situation that you're in. If you're Celebrity, you can say, I can just keep playing the way I have been because I have the farm advantage, but it looks like they're going for the all-in.
Yeah, that's the Ignite. Raider's gonna pop his ultimate. Celebrity just doesn't care about it. Double exhaust, but he just needs 1 more shot. The Rend is not enough. Takes his tower shot, but it forces Raider back.
So that's pretty good for Raider. Both summoner spells have been used by Celebrity. He's going to try and clear this farm out as quickly as he can to get back to base and pick up a bit of extra gold. But Raider, you can see how difficult it is for him to win out in these extended trades because Celebrity is just getting stacks of Rend over and over and over again. And Raider, just if he misses a single E, that really does punish his ability to trade back.
Yeah, he's just hammering him right now, and the CS is starting to grow even further apart. Raider is scuttling as fast as he can back to this tower to just try and get the minions right off of it. Health Relic's still available on both sides of the map. He really should be picking that further one out while he has a moment, but he's just going to stall out the wave.
Pickaxe has now been picked up for Celebrity. Double longsword for Raider, but the key thing to note is the severe lack of health potions. Celebrity actually stuck around a little bit longer, and he's changed it for a Vampire Acceptor. I think this was the smarter decision. You need the sustain, especially with the amount of poke that Raider is able to throw out, especially if you've got no health bots to keep you alive. And now with this Vampire Acceptor, you can just play the farm game. You are 8 CS ahead. Unless Raider can force you back, it is extremely unlikely that you're going to lose in terms of farm. And so Celebrity, he just has to play the waiting game at this point.
Yeah, it was a nice launch from Raider to try and get a little bit extra damage, but unfortunately, as he didn't clear the health relic, Celebrity is able to recover much of it. He has the lifesteal available to him, and Raider can't really afford to let this wave just keep pushing by itself anymore. The farm game is going to go in favor of Celebrities. Raider needs to find an answer. That Ignite will be key if he's able to punish the window.
The question is, can he get close enough? Because Celebrity's been doing a great job of just keeping Raider at arm's length. He's stacking up those Rens onto a single target, then passing it over to Raider, popping them for a nice trade that Raider isn't using his shield in time for, and it's just constantly going in the favor of Celebrity. So right now, the wave is pushing towards Celebrity's turret. This is a good opportunity for Raider because if he can just land the EQ combo, he can force Celebrity away from the turret. And we've already talked a lot about how the turret is so devastating at clearing away these minions and how much harder it becomes to farm underneath the turret.
Yeah. And he's even able to sort of predict that Celebrity's going to try to gun for the big minion, big cannon creep, and he's able to launch an Acid Hunter onto him, or rather after Noxing Corrosive Charge, just keep on pushing, force him back from this tower. And he has caught up in farm, but there's a big wave here. Celebrity can grab it all. Dodging out.
Ooh,
Still
good
nails him with
dodge.
one Acid Hunter.
Really good dodge from Celebrity, but look, he's now been forced under turret. All Raider has to do is actually keep him away from farm, and he might be able to get ahead in the farm department. Oh, and now it's dead even. Raider has done a fantastic job. All he has to do is not miss a single farm right now, and they can play for 100 CS. Raider has somehow managed to close the gap, and who would have thought that this could very well come down to who has the better last hitting ability. And I mean, for 280 carries, what's more suitable?
Oh, he missed one though, he's down 2. This is so tense right now, Vedius. Raider is a little lower on the health. He's got his Ignite, but now so does Celebrity, and the exhaust is not quite back up for him yet, so the window is actually in favor of Celebrity. He's gonna nail that last minion, but now it's in the brush.
This is huge, Pirate. Neither AD carry can afford to go back. You just have to force your opponent to miss a single CS, and that could be the determining factor, but there's pretty much only one wave left in it for Celebrity.
Oh man, this is oh so close. Cannon Creep gets taken. Raider is going to be able to find that last one, but Celebrity, he just keeps pushing him back. He's got enough spears in it right now. Raider's a little bit low. There's that Ignite. You've got to be careful. Is this really going to come down to a kill after it's all said and done? He's got all the tower range. Celebrity, he's exhausted. He's ignited, but there's so many spears, and it's first blood. Victory for Celebrity.
Oh, Raider, you came so close. It was 96 farm to 93 in favor of Celebrity. You could have just made the decision. It doesn't matter if I'm behind in farm. All I have to do is clear the minion waves faster.
Oh.
And if he combined E and Q, he could have very well done it. But he decides to go for the fight at the very end. Celebrity goes to the commit. And oh my word, if he hadn't ran out of mana at the end, like there's so many little things that could have swung that.
It comes down to like the slimmest of margins, and it was 93 to 96 CS at the end. They get antsy, they just go for the play, and man, was that a photo finish.
I mean, so look at this. I mean, Raider gets to swap him, but just look at his mana pool. He can't do it anymore. He can't trade any more damage. He realizes that he's done because it's the Rend, and then Celebrity's able to get it.
What a calm, cool, collected finish, and Raider.
He must be so frustrated after that because it was so close. It really was so close all the way till the very end.
Yeah, now, remember, OC still have a chance, but they have 4 games left. They need to win 3 of them. They need to top it off. That's a good start for SCA. It wasn't the quickest of victories.
No.
So they actually really, really need to start winning by wide margins. If they can put it away 4-1 or better, they can qualify ahead. But yeah, let's take a look at in the back LAS team still, you know, their hopes and dreams on the line here. Let's see what they were looking at the end of that game. I think they're pretty happy.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that they were pretty happy because for them, they need Oceania to not win the 1 versus 1. Like, it's very tense in the whole Team Ice department right now because initially it's all about Team Fire versus Team Ice, unity. Everyone wants to work together to achieve those top 3 seeds. Once you realize who's winning and who's losing, then it becomes a bloodbath internally, and everyone's trying to fight for that top seed in Team Ice.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of chaos. Well, I think we're about ready to introduce our next pair of guys. Remember, representing OCE in the jungle, it is Carbon.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the murder bridge will be QTV, Southeast Asia's top laner. And I mean, QTV, they talked about it on the desk. He has gone from mid to top to mid to top. He is very well versed in these solo lanes, so you would expect him to be pretty experienced coming into the murder bridge.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a guy that you definitely associate with the word mechanics. On the other hand, Carbon, you know, he's been a big force in the 1v1s at least, so we'll see if he's able to put this one away. What do we expect out of him? That's a real big question.
Well, he is a jungler, so maybe a Rengar. We saw it from Audi on day 1 of the 1 versus 1s.
I got a name bopping around in my head right now.
You got a
Lee
name?
Sin.
Lee Sin.
See,
now I'm thinking more Levy towards the Lee Sin.
You think he's gonna do that?
The one thing that's gotten me is we've actually had 0 gentlemen's agreements throughout these 1 versus 1s.
That's true. No one's like done the agree to farm. They,
see, now if I was a 1v1 player, I would have said, look, how about we have a gentleman's agreement, and you and I will let you choose the champion. That's what I would do, because I would be so confident in my skill to destroy you that I would allow you to pick the champion. Yeah. So I think that that's how I would play, but we haven't seen any as of yet. And we'll have to see if we see one today. But with the Kalista victory already in the bag for Southeast Asia, they're now 1 up in the leaderboard, and they're looking to try and make it 2-0 right now.
Well, we're already pretty big way into the picks and bans. So Quinn, Tom Kench, Lucian all off the board. And on the other side, QTV is taking Kalista and Caitlyn away. A lot of AD carries targeted, and of course, the Kench has been benched.
Classic junglers, you know, like the Quinn, the Tom Kench. No, these are just very conventional 1 versus 1. Ezreal's still on the board.
I banned the air guy.
Wow. That was quick.
Did it actually get locked?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my word. Carbon has made a big statement.
We've got a jungler versus a top laner. This is going to be spicy. This is going to be some hot stuff.
This is going to be very spicy indeed. You know, I feel like this is a champion that you can easily overlook because Xin Zhao tends to do one thing.
When was the last time you saw Xin Zhao?
I don't know.
I haven't even
Silver
seen
4. And the best part is, if he sticks on these summoners, he's going Clarity. Sorry, Clarity. I'm like, wait a minute, that's still a thing, right? On Murder Bridge. So he's saying, okay, go ahead, CC me. I'm going to hedge my bets here. You cannot stop me coming in. Give me an immovable object. He's the unstoppable force.
Now, I'm trying to recall Cleanse. As far as I'm aware, it does remove exhaust. It will not remove your ignite, but it will remove the exhaust. So I assume that Carbon is playing into the fact that the vast majority of players have been running exhaust ignite. So he's playing around that fact. Now, he can't mitigate the damage from the ignite, but he can remove the exhaust factor, and that means that any hard all-in 1 versus 1s, he should be able to have the advantage.
But what he does lose out on, though, is the power of the ignite, which, of course, on the other side, QTV has taken. But Jace is definitely a little squishier. And I'm curious to see if Carbon is just going to all-in him pre-minions at this point.
Well, both are looking to ascertain brush control. Carbon, don't want to face check.
Ooh.
Oh, smart use of the sweep trinket to see if QTV was in the brush. He did get a spot of him. I mean, we heard Swiffer say in the pre-game video that Carbon does take 1 versus 1 very seriously, and you can see how prepared he is. I feel like that he just understands this game mode perfectly. Taking the cleanse, using the sweepers, that was just, so far he's got a great understanding.
Here we go. QTV's hanging in the front. Carbon is just waiting for the first move to try and counter-strike in. But they're going to wait for the minions to spawn instead.
They're just going to play the patient game. Now, what has Carbon decided to start with? He's got the E. So he's got his audacious charge in. And now remember, his passive will actually do a lot in terms of the 1 versus 1 because it does give him a bit of extra damage. Or sorry, it reduces the armor of his target for 3 seconds to anyone that does have that 1 versus 1 dueling thing, which is, again, another fantastic 1 versus 1 thing. I feel like Carbon really has thought this out. He has done some serious research into being able to win the 1 versus 1.
And he's got the level 2. He's going to go for it here. Audacious charge in. Instantly, QTV's down to half health. Exhaust is on him. He gets the knock-up. Oh,
Very
man.
early cleanse, though, from Carbon. Not sure why he decided to burn that.
I think he was worried of the counter-exhaust. QTV did not use either of his summoners in that case. So it's actually a good advantage for him if he can get his health back up. And you can see the tense look on the faces of the OCE players right now backstage.
Man, they are feeling the pressure. But Carbon, he does have the lead right now in terms of pressure. The minion wave is pushing towards QTV's turret. We've talked at length about how difficult it is to farm underneath the turret.
Goes in again. Oh, and this time he is under turret. He takes this shot. Exhaust, ignite. Carbon is in some trouble. QTV knocks him back away.
Oh,
and he gets the health relic spawn.
Run!
Oh, he
Run,
gets the kill.
Carbon,
Carbon, no! First blood and a victory for Southeast Asia again.
Oh, Carbon, that was such a massive mistake. We were giving you so much praise in your preparation for the 1 versus 1, and then you mistime the health relic. Just as you go for the aggressive play, just as you look like you're about to turn it around, and then QTV just gets all that health, all the mana back, and everything just falls to disaster.
This is the problem with Xin Zhao. To go one direction, it's in. There is no escape. And unfortunately, because he did not have the third, he didn't have any more summoners left, and he forgot, or just didn't acknowledge
so early.
QTV.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he's out. So that's Radier and Carbon are down. OC has to win out now if they want to progress.
Yeah, they have to get the reverse sweep if they want to stand a chance. And, I mean, we look at the 3 members that are left. There's Swiper, there's Rosie, and there's Swiffer. So they still have their top laner, they still have their mid laner, but I think they were putting a lot of bets on Carbon to win out. I think that they had a lot of faith in him to actually be the one to succeed. But you can see Carbon, prior to this, took the shot. He wanted to actually go back in because his cooldowns were coming back up. And then he realizes, oh no, QTV, he's actually gotten the health relic. And he was so close to getting it.
Oh, look at how close.
That's what our faces were like.
That's
like,
pretty much
no!
total reenactment. Our boss was just 1 step behind, unfortunately. So
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, that is definitely a feels bad man kind of game. Oh, that's rough.
Just truly devastating.
Yeah, but for SEA, I mean, this is a great start for them. They
fantastic for
they can take it. And by the way, that offsets the timing a little bit with that really long Farm Fest.
Yeah, it does.
That was a very quick turnaround. Not exactly pre-minion finish, but it was close. So really excited to see how they're doing right now.
Yeah. So neither team knows who's coming up next. I feel like the best strategy for 1 versus 1 is to actually send your strongest players, 1v1 players, at number 3. Because that is where you're almost guaranteed to try and get your team a point.
Yep, taking a look at LAS again. So the excitement is clearly mounting right now. These guys are very, very close on the precipice,
Look
if you
at
will.
Helior. You can see him. So much enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you could get seed 1 from Team Ice, but you still have to go up against Team Fire, who have been dominating.
It's been a little bit rough for Team Ice this whole tournament around. I mean, especially you look at yesterday, all the assassin mode, they completely swept that one away. They've still been winning quite a lot today. But when they start turning on each other tomorrow, that'll be where we'll see some real bloodbaths. But for now, we still have to decide who's going to come up next.
Yep.
And the last team from Team Ice, OCE, they have their fate in their own hands, but they are up against a wall.
Yep. So what have we seen today, Pyro? We saw
Quite a
the
lot.
Urgot, and we saw the Callista. We've now seen a Jin Zhao and a Jace. I honestly felt like that the Jin Zhao could have done it if he hadn't made that tiny misplay. But there's still a lot of champions left on the board that we are yet to see.
Yeah, it was definitely very risky, but it really does come down to those slight moments. We haven't really seen too many 1v1s that have been entirely one-sided because of the matchup. So I think there's a lot of champions that a lot of players don't tend to think about that can come up really big. You mentioned the Rengar earlier, and I think that actually is going to be a good one because it has been a little bit more popular. Just generally speaking, even in like assassin mode. But let's take a look at who's up next. They need a reverse sweep. Well, how about the man in the mid lane? It is Swiffer coming out for OCE. Let's see if he can sweep up the rest of this competition.
Well, he's going to have to do it against Levy, the Southeast Asian jungler. And we talked about putting your strongest players in the mid lane, or in the middle of the pack. And perhaps this is what both teams are doing. Swiffer, the mid laner, considered to be a former assassin. He was pretty confident in his assassin play. We didn't quite see him step up and be a master assassin yesterday, but now it's just a 1 versus 1 environment. This is his one chance to prove that he can keep his team and his region's hopes alive.
Watch him insta-lock Nasus. Just play the safe game. Now, I think it might even be banned in this situation. On the other hand, Levy has come up very big too. So I'm thinking this is not going to be an easy match for either player. And again, OCE, this is their hopes and dreams. They have to win out now. They have to start here. But if SEA win, they are one step closer to pushing themselves over the competition to move on as the 3rd seed for Team Fire.
Yeah, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is pretty much the decider as to who will be moving forward into tomorrow's games and who will be falling out of the competition. So it's extremely important.
Latin America South is cheering for in this particular one.
Yeah, I have a slight inclination that Latin America South might be rooting for one side over the other. But
they're cheering against their own team.
So I just read in the chat, go easy. I'm bad 1v1. So
all right, so let's break this down. Is that a little mind games, or do you think he's actually bad?
Levy replies with me too. So mind games with the counter mind games.
The best part is their stone face too about it.
Yeah, they're both just like, oh, so we both suck. Well, this could be awkward, but so maybe we'll just see full ham. Maybe we'll see no.
That's what I like. I'm hoping it's the former Vedius. Honestly, like waiting for minions and stuff, it is a smarter way to play out the 1v1, but nobody wants to see that. Everyone wants to see the big kills, the big plays. We almost saw a tower get demolished the other day. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it became very close.
Yeah.
Personally, you know my favorite. I'd run Katarina almost every time.
Yes, I am well aware of your preferences, but we'll find out what these players' preferences are as we get into picks and bans once again. Starting off, the Tahm Kench is banned, followed by the Cassiopeia and Lucian. Man, these are going quick.
Yeah, a lot of mid lane bans focused towards Swiffer. Levy is saying, nah. We're not having any Cassio, any LeBlanc. Tahm Kench being taken off the board too, so Syndra's still available.
Yes.
What else is still
Rise is still
Rise. We haven't actually seen very much Rise in the 1 versus 1.
The Kennen ban. Now, this is good, too, because Kennen is a little scary in the 1v1s.
He certainly is. We did actually see it come out victorious yesterday. Annie, we actually saw a bit of yesterday. Didn't quite work out. I can't exactly
No, but it definitely
remember.
wasn't the kid. It was more of like a misexecution.
Yes, it certainly was.
And there's the Annie ban.
There it is. So,
okay.
Insta-lock it.
Really?
Oh, you can see on Swiffer's face, he's like, do I want to do this? Not only did I see my opponent insta-lock, but, I mean, if you want to win, maybe you just play it safe.
I mean, Caitlyn's about the safest you can get at this point. This is a champion that's typically banned as well.
I know, right? But if you're Caitlyn, do you go for the safe farming route? I know that when Pulse played Caitlyn in our little 1v1 tournament, he actually went for the kill rather than going for the farm play.
Yeah, but Pulse is crazy. You got to remember
He is
that.
crazy,
On the other hand,
yes.
is Swiffer crazy enough to do this? I think you can safely kite out and you force Levy to make bad decisions. It is locked in Caitlyn. I like this for OCE. Is it going to be enough for Swiffer to take the win?
Well, that's the big question. He has decided to take the barrier, for the time being. Barrier in a 1v1 is actually much more useful against an Ignite because its level 1 value, its early level values are actually much stronger than the heal, and also the heal gets crippled by the opponent's Ignite. So I like the barrier choice. You should be able to come out ahead if you go for a level 1 trade, and I actually think that Caitlyn's level 1 is very strong, especially if you stay in the brush because of how easy it is to stack up those headshot procs.
Absolutely, you get it twice as fast. I also think I would like to see, not maxing, but take a very, very early point in traps, just because it makes it that much harder for Kalista to try and dance around, shove a couple in the bush, and it hurts really bad when you step on one of those and then you get just smacked in the face.
The big problem with taking traps early is that you're going to lose wave clear from... actually, are you... see,
I don't mean
I'm
level
thinking,
1. I'm thinking levels 2, level 3.
Yeah,
So
that's fine, that's fine.
Because you don't need that super early on.
For some reason, I was thinking that you should actually take the E at level 1 if you're actually going to look for an early trade, because you can sit in the brush, stack up that headshot, get an early headshot, then you can use your E to create a gap, but then get a second proc of the headshot and just zone your opponent away. And with the range advantage that Caitlyn had, she could abuse that. But we'll have to see what Swiffer does as we jump into our third match of the day.
Absolutely. We focus a lot on Swiffer, but on the other side, for Levy, I think his game plan is going to be a little bit more try to abuse the brush as well, and just don't give an opening for Swiffer to get those auto attacks in, because Kalista's wave clear early on is not going to be super heavy too, but we have seen the Ren stack start to get really powerful really early. If he can get an all in, it could be big.
I feel like that the GPL All-Star squad definitely talked about the power of Kalista in the 1 versus 1. You can see that it's now been picked twice for the team. They got themselves a win early on that could have been through farm, but he ended up getting the kill. And it is definitely an effective tool, using it to just stack up on the minions and throwing your Q out to land it on the back of your opponent to then get that big proc of damage. Now, it was easier against the Urgot because he was so short range and he always had to be within range of the minions, but Caitlyn has a much bigger advantage compared to the Urgot, so it's going to be much harder to get the harassment down.
Interesting. So he started the Piltover Peacemaker. Makes a lot of sense here, but he's just going for the minion farm. Doesn't actually try to nail the harass, and he's not taking advantage of the brush right now. A little surprised.
Well, his main goal for the early game is actually just to get the early push.
There we go.
To try and push his opponents underneath the turret, because this is something big that we see very often in the 1 versus 1, is just trying to force the minions underneath the turret because of how hard it is to farm.
Hold on, though. There's the Ignite, and it's level 1. He doesn't have his net available, but Levy is fighting right inside the minion. Swiffer, though, loses the trade here. He's going to stick around. This is dangerous.
He still has the barrier. He still has the exhaust. He's baited out that summoner spell. He just has to get that level 2 now. Once he gets E, he's going to be in a pretty good position, but Levy doing a great job of abusing the level advantage that he had.
Yeah, all the OCE players on the edge of their seats right now. There's all on the line for them.
GPL looking very tense as well. I mean, This is a big deal for them. They need to make their way into that 3rd seed if they want to move on to tomorrow. So getting themselves as many wins as possible is going to be big.
Yeah, big headshot and a Peacemaker as well. Levy is down to half health. He only has his exhaust available. Swiffer has both of his summoner spells available to him at level 3. Should get the traps. And he has a health relic spawn on top of him, but the CS advantage so far is for Levy.
Now Swiffer, he needs to be using his mana a little bit more aggressively right now, because he is just getting shoved underneath his tower. He's going to lose a lot of farm here if he's not too careful, and I mean, losing that cannon is going to hurt him too.
Yeah, that's not good. You do not want that to be happening. 13 to 15 CS. It's still very close, but you can see it makes the big difference, and it nearly did in that Urgot Kalista matchup earlier on. Swiffer's going to go in, gets the trap, gets the autos. Still, though, Ren's stacking up.
Ooh, double headshot coming out from Swiffer. Yeah. This is the sort of trading that you want to be going for. But just look at the farm difference. There's now 5 minions making their way towards Levy, and Swiffer's actually behind. So by prioritizing the trade, Swiffer is falling behind in terms of the CS differential. So he's going to have to try and make this work for himself, as actually he's going to force Levy back using the level advantage that he has. Swiffer's decided to take 2 points in his queue. Now, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this. Oh, he doesn't actually interrupt the back. That's going to hurt him.
Yeah, that's really rough right now. He took a little too much time. He is going to be able to shove this wave, but he's still, not too far ahead on minion waves, and it's going to be Levy's chance to pretty much kind of keep this push going. You can see both teams sitting in the back just waiting for it. A very, very tense moment here, because this could decide our semifinals.
So, in terms of the gold, that's pretty even.
In terms of swords as well.
Swiffer actually picked himself up the long sword rather than going for a bit of sustain. Oh, he's going to trade it for boots and sustain now. I suppose it does make sense because if you do have that slight move speed advantage, it makes it easier to walk in and out of range and just dance around your opponent. Again, Caitlyn, big range advantage over her opponent. But you will be, I suppose in terms of damage, you're actually even with the Callista because you both have the Doran's Blade as well. So shouldn't be too bad for Swiffer. And with a big minion wave pushing in, he should be able to close that CS gap pretty quickly. But he needs to, this is what he needs to do. Prioritize on wave clear right now. It's a big wave. You can't afford to just be last hitting. You need to push, push, push.
Yeah. Trying to save the Peacemaker to see if he can get Levy. Oh, steals the health relic. He's going to net back, but look at that trade. It's working way better for Levy, and now the minion wave is crashing into turret. He's going to have to be very quick on the draw. Not losing any minions just yet. Nicely calculating that. Levy's actually backing in the brush, so he won't be spotted by Swiffer. It is so close in CS right now. But Swiffer's just playing the defense game.
Really smart from Levy. Just getting the offensive push down, then backing away, using this opportunity to pick himself up another sword, and now Swiffer's only going to have an awkward back timing.
Swiffer needs to put a trap on that health relic right now. Deny any chance of using it. He is going to net, and unfortunately Levy is going to take it away, but he does trade more damage than he was able to heal, so that's definitely going to help him. Close to level 6. Ace in the hole will be available.
Believe it or not, as long as Levy doesn't miss any farm right now, he's actually still going to be ahead in the farm department, even though he went back to base. So really good back timing from Levy, and he's actually got a sword advantage.
And Swiffer's missing farm.
Yep. So things right now in Levy's control. But you can see how much harder it is becoming for Levy to actually trade with this Caitlyn as time goes by.
Yeah, Swiffer steps up, a couple of minion harass. Ooh, he does get nailed with the Peacemaker. Levy on the way back, and that's level 6. He's going to ace in the hole. No dodging available. This should be Levy backing off. Now Swiffer, let's see if he can stop this and not give up any farm this time. There we go. Just force him back. You don't even actually have to do the damage. But he does take an erroneous tower shot. And Levy's going to stick around.
Yeah, I feel like he has to. This is going to be good for Swiffer because now he can go back, pick himself up some items. No, he's actually going to play hyper aggressively. He wants to try and get some damage down onto the turret. I feel like this is a bit of a mistake because, well, I mean, it can work out, but you're so low on mana. If Levy just decides to go for an all-in commitment, there's the potential for him to come out ahead, largely because of the item advantage that he does have.
True. Gap close, though, just isn't that big enough right now for Levy, and he's got no flash.
Oh, this
available.
is big. This is massive.
Swiffer's taking away the health relic.
Okay.
Levy just cannot get in here, and he can start freezing this wave.
So I'm not sure if Swiffer timed that or if that was just a lucky break, but now Levy is forced to go back because there is too much of a big health advantage as well as mana advantage. Now Swiffer can just start pounding down onto that tower. He's also got the CS lead. So this is going to force Levy into a decision saying, I have to go for the all-in right now, or I have to get some kind of outplay where I can force Swiffer back.
Yeah, and Swiffer's actually sitting on quite a lot of gold. He could go if he wants to back and just get like a BF sword just for flat damage at this point. And he uses the Peacemaker to say goodbye to the last cannon creep, leaving it up to Levy. But that tower's close to half its health, and 7 minutes in, this big farm advantage for the OPL side.
Yeah, there's the BF sword, Pirate. You called it. He's even able to get himself a health pot, so things looking very positive for the Oceanic mid laner.
When you're 0-2 down, what do you need? Your best friend. Sword. It's good. Swiffer's going to be able to do a lot more damage with that. However, the Vamp Scepter does mean that Levy can stick a little longer. There's still Summoner even on both sides. Now, obviously, it's going to be all about positioning and manipulating those health relics. Unless it goes all the way down to the farm. It's still a 7 CS advantage, 6 now, as Levy's pushing forward. Net connects. The autos are big.
Just
Swiffer,
keep going.
Oh, he tried to get the trap, but the arm time wasn't fast enough.
I'm surprised Swiffer just didn't keep committing that because in terms of the actual trade, Swiffer came miles ahead, and now Levy's just going to be allowed to heal himself back up with the Vamp Scepter. He's going to back off and pick himself up the health relic, but Levy's being forced to use all of his mana. Pick up the health relic, man. Maybe he's decided that it's not worth it. Swiffer was hot on his heels, so he's going to be able to deny that. Pick that one up, and now Swiffer is in full control. Is he going to go for a blind Q?
He does. A little too late. Okay, so he's still going to be able to control this right now as he's pushing the wave instead of trying to freeze it back. Health relic, of course, not up anymore. Swiffer's going to go for the fast clear. And he's got a pretty big CS advantage. This is, oh man, this is oh so tense for both the teams. You can see, even in the lead, no comfort for OPL right now as the wave comes crashing into tower. He might actually win by tower.
I mean, he could just commit to it. He has a cannon minion. Levy feels he has to play aggressively, and now Swiffer is actually in a really good position.
Oh man, Swiffer hanging onto his net here, trying to see if he can punish Levy a little bit more, who's nomming on the biscuit. Has the Bilgewater Cutlass available for himself. Nets, autos. Only one spear sticking in him, a level advantage as well. This is looking great for Swiffer right now.
See, I feel like Swiffer now just uses the rest of his mana to go for a push, but Levy wants the all-in.
Yes, he does, and he's got the Ignite. Keeps on hopping forward. There's a barrier, there's an exhaust. This might be it. No.
He failed the Rend fire. That was a big problem.
Oh! Are you kidding me?
No way, Levy!
He didn't hit the barrier!
I cannot believe Levy just did that! Levy, what a god!
What a play, a split-second window, and he nails the Rend. You cannot time it.
Oh my god, like, Swiffer had everything! He literally had everything, Pyra!
All he had to do was play safe.
He had exhaust, he had barrier, the BF sword, he had 9 CS in his favor. Levy was forced to try and make some kind of decision, and then he does it right at the end. My god.
Oh, yeah, that exasperation there, I can assure you, the OC players are feeling the same thing in the back. But elation from Southeast Asia, they need one more win, but let's go back into this one and how it all ended. What a crazy finish,
See,
Swiffer.
because look at this, right? Levy didn't have the Rend, but then it just comes off cooldown here. He gets the E and the Q, and he just wasn't expecting the damage. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, because you can't time that for the barrier.
Look at Levy's face. He's just like, calculated, bruv. All planned.
All right, so today we learned Kalista, pretty good at 1v1s. And let's go ahead and take a look at Latin America South, because they are looking pretty good right now.
I believe now that they have secured themselves Seed 1 of Team Ice.
Yes.
So pretty good for Latin America South. I'm devastated. I'm devastated for Swiffer. I felt like that he had that game. That was his. And then Levy with the outplay, just unbelievable. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, really, really nice moves. And Levy, it looked like he was on the back foot, but he hopped forward. He made such a massive play. And that Rend, it literally, there's no delay on when you press that button and when that damage comes through if you've got enough spear stacks. So not much they could do. And big win. So let's take a look at our next contestants in the mid lane for OCE, of course. Excuse me, not the mid lane, top lane. It will be Swiper.
And Swiper will be going up against Southeast Asia's mid laner, Optimus, or as some have called him, OP-Timus.
Well, he definitely proved that yesterday. Let's see if he does it again. Remember, SEA still need to win very convincingly. They need to get at least one more victory on the board. They've got 2 chances to try it here to put themselves up as the 3rd seed from Team Fire.
So, Oceania now, they can play spoiler. They can either help Brazil or they can hurt them. Because if they win these next 2 games, then Brazil move forward into the finals tomorrow. But if they lose both of them, then it is Southeast Asia that is guaranteed to move forward into the finals. So now Brazil moving forward is entirely in the hands of Oceania.
Yep, so they can no longer influence their own destiny, but they can definitely do something for either against or for Brazil, and I'm just taking a look at what they're talking about in pregame. Now, I hope they don't do this.
Oh, I think that would be hilarious.
They're asking if they can.
Whoa, don't tell them. Not yet.
We're gonna pick some bands. If it happens, we'll talk about it. If it doesn't, we're gonna sweep that one under the rug. But it's a Cassiopeia and a Pantheon band.
So Pantheon, we haven't actually seen many bands directed towards. Jace was able to get the win earlier on in the day, but these bans are coming out thick and fast. They're not trying to spell anything out. See, if I was banning, I would spell TSM, but I guess that's just me.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be the only one, but Caitlyn LeBlanc banned away. There's the Jason the Kennen. So it all comes down to what they lock. 48 seconds remaining. Lucian is up and available. It had been banned quite a lot in the 1v1s, and we might actually see it come out here for Optimus.
Swiper. Now, I know for a fact that the previous hover is actually what he's relatively well known for in his local region, so he could very well have gone for that.
But
however,
just like the Tom Kench.
The Kench was left unbenched, and after a successful performance with the champion yesterday, it looks like Swiper's looking trying to repeat that success.
Yeah, taking a page out of the Turkey playbook. We'll see if it works out. And on the other side, Optimus is going to lock in the Lucian. We'll see how it goes, support versus AD carry.
So you need the snowball in there if you are Swiper to close the distance between you and your opponent, especially a ranged champion like Lucian who can heavily abuse you in the early game.
Yeah, not only that, but Optimus will definitely want to be holding on to his relentless pursuit to dash out the way of the snowball. If he's able to save that for that moment, it's going to be hard for Swiper to get up in his face.
It certainly is. Well, we've had a lot of I feel like we've had a lot of fun 1v1s, Pyro.
Yeah, we have.
Some of them felt a little bit slow. Our
Some
second one
joy,
was
some heartbreak,
yeah.
a lot of action,
I
a lot
mean,
of
I feel like
snowball.
for the Oceanics squad, it's just been heartbreak. Like, literally their hearts have been smashed over and over and over again. And now I can understand why Rusty's just, he doesn't feel anything
He's
anymore.
just dead inside now. I can guarantee he's sitting in the back
just like another day
again.
in the Oceanic office.
Well, this just got really morbid. But you know what's not is the 1v1. It's going to be great.
It's going to be Tom
fantastic.
Kench up against Lucian. Question is, who's going to be on the menu this evening? Will it be grilled fish or will it be some Lucian? Chocolate Thunder.
We might see. I think, in fact, it's safe to say we will. Guaranteed. It's a defensive start, of course, for Swiper, as he has the Doran's shield for a little extra sustain, and Optimus coming out the gates. You know, last time, earlier on in the 1v1s, we saw a couple of times sweepers not even being taken. It was like one sweeper versus nothing.
Yeah.
At least both have picked up their trinkets.
Yeah. So it looks like that Swiper has decided to go for it very similarly to what we saw earlier on from Carbon. He's going to be using it to spawn out Optimus in the brush. Really nice usage.
Gonna wait for the minions to start, though. No more face checking. That was all the silliness of the beginning. And Swiper could just launch a blind snowball in here, but there's always the chance. Optimus could dodge. I wonder if he's holding his skill. Let's see if he leveled up first. No, he did. He gets piercing light, so he can't actually dodge at level 1.
So he's just going to go for the early push. Just going to try and push the minion wave underneath the turret.
Swiper went early Devour. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, he's going to do exactly the same thing as Optimus. Like, oh, you're going to go for early push? Well, I'm also going to go for early push. But the big difference is Optimus has a range advantage, so all of his basic attacks force Swiper back to the turret.
Yeah, he's getting zoned off. He can't take these minions right now, and Optimus is just denying him constantly. That's not a good start for the OPL.
I mean, another big problem with taking your Devour first is the fact that it actually has a very large cooldown. So, yeah, sure, it can be used to clear out those minion waves, but in terms of the piercing light, you just don't have the same sort of pressure as a Lucian would.
Yeah, and since he's stuck on level 1, he doesn't have the great health to utilize right now. Optimus is going to get that level up, and it's already a big advantage, so he can play a much more controlled style. It's kind of funny, we see so many AD carries, and they're playing for the 100 CS.
Well, I don't know if he's playing for the 100 CS just yet, because in fairness, like, we've seen a lot of misfortune on misfortune level 1s. We've seen a lot of honestly crazy stuff happen early on, but Swiper, he's just going to be forced to play on the defensive because of the difference in champions that they're playing. So I don't expect too much bloodshed early on. It's really when Swiper hits level 3 that he might look to try and go for some kind of all-in. And something that you also have to know is Optimus has actually swapped towards the Flash. Now, I think this is a much safer option, especially when going up against the Tom Kench. It will enable you to kite him much more, even if he is able to land the snowball.
Yeah, Swiper is able to get a little bit of CS back for himself, utilizing the Tongue Lash, getting the Devour off, but Optimus has stayed completely healthy throughout all of this. So now that he has level 3, it'll be curious to see what Swiper opts for. It's going to be hard for him to even target Optimus, who's taking advantage of his position in the brush.
Well, right now Swiper's just forced to sit underneath his turret.
Biding his time.
Yeah, having to sit in the cold, a little bit chilly. You know, I do wonder where all the snow comes from, given that it never actually snows.
I presume from the sky, but you got a good point. I don't have any existential answers for you, Vedius, unfortunately. All I know is that Swiper is in a load of trouble at the moment, and he's going to get the minion spit out just onto the wave. So he keeps trying to push this wave back, but you know, he is playing Optimus's game.
Well, I mean, Optimus just has to take his time now, right? He has a very obvious win condition of I can farm to 100 CS before you can. I can also take your turret before you can take mine. So Swiper's only option is to actually go for an all-in, and right now he's just taking way too much harass. He's pretty much out of mana already, and there is a 15 CS differential, and Swiper doesn't even have control over his health relic. So you can see the laugh on his face. He's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Someone please help me. And Optimus is even going to go back himself, so he's going to match the base timing. Swiper, without any real gold, is just going to force me to pick up more sustain, and Optimus is like, great, I can get more damage in my kit too.
Yes, and more swords is definitely going to beat a bit of jewelry. The Rejuve beat is only going to do so much right now. The Corrupting Potion's great, but Swiper has to start playing differently. Maybe this is all like a feint. Maybe he's just kind of playing back and trying to act like he doesn't know how to play Tom Kench, and then all of a sudden, wham, eats you. That's really
that
the
would
only
be
way
the goal. He is now level 4. If he wants to try and go for an all-in, he has to do it relatively soon, because this Lucian is only going to get stronger and stronger. And missing skill shots is not a great way to start.
Yeah, he's definitely got to get a little better at that, and the snowball. So now there is no threat left. Swiper does get a tongue lash, but Optimus has his health relic right there, and he's just going to grab it once again. So Swiper posing a bit more of a threat, but it's already a huge CS differential. There's a damage differential. Optimus is not worried at all about this.
No, he is not. And remember, for GPL, all they really need is as many wins as they can get to come over Brazil in the 1v1.
This would put them over. If they can get this victory
Guaranteed?
right now. Yeah, I believe so. They just needed one more beyond winning the 3-2. Get that one confirmed. Yes, just hearing back from statistics, it is confirmed if they win this one, which means the next match, they can go out and be fun. But they have to put it away here. Optimus is looking to do just that. 44-21.
For those that were interested, Swiper did propose a Tryndamere on Tryndamere matchup.
That might have been a little bit more interesting. Oh, Optimus dashed right into a tongue lash, but look at how much damage he's got. He's just going to go full culling.
Gonna full Swiper back. He does have the gray health. We'll give him a bit of regeneration back, but he is out of corrupting potion stacks. He is only level 5. He is just doing what he can to get a bit of farm, but this is not how you want to play Swiper. You have to be more aggressive. You have to be in Optimus's face, but he realizes the flash that is on top of Optimus right now, and he's just contemplating his options, and I honestly feel like he really doesn't have very many.
Yeah, well, he's just not making the play, unfortunately, and he even actually is spinning the minion away from the minion wave. So this is pretty much the opposite of what he needs to do to win.
And Optimus is just honestly playing beautifully underneath this turret. Every time Swiper tries to get anywhere near the minion wave, he's getting hard punished. Yeah. So this is going to be a slow bleed out for Swiper at this point. I don't even know if he has much gold to buy anything. Nope, he's constantly going to go on the defensive. Boots will help him close the gap a little bit. He does have the snowball up once more. Now that he's level 6 as well, he'll get a bit of additional damage, and he'll be able to get back into lane faster.
Yep. Not sure if it'll do him as much good. He does launch a blind snowball, isn't able to connect on it, as Optimus is backing on top of the health relic. Shrine, Swiper's going to be able to pick his own up. It is just so rough for him right now, and Optimus is playing this out just about as flawlessly as he can as he goes back, picks up his phage.
Now this seems to be a repetitive build path from the GPL squad, where they've gone for a very early phage, and then they've built it into a bit of lifesteal. Largely it helps with the kiting, and I think that's exactly what you want to do against the Tahm Kench, because his only real option is to go for an all-in. And so if you have all these tools like the flash, the dash, also the phage, it just becomes so difficult for the Tahm Kench to actually close the gap. So now Optimus, all he has to do is just continue dominating in the farm department, keep putting down that poke. Yes, Swiper, you're going to get tankier and tankier, but the damage has already been done. I mean, he's coming up to a 30 CS deficit.
Yeah, he needs to just get on top of him. If he can force the flash, he can try for it again in another couple, in a minute or two. But he's just not making the opening. He gets a couple of tongue lashes here or there, and Optimus is just going to shake it off like it's nothing. It's 68 to 35 CS, and you're nearly double at this point. He can just leisurely stroll up to this tower. He could even take that.
I mean, yeah, it's below 50% health right now. We're in a similar situation to what Levy was in the previous game, you know, like where you're down in farm, you're down in CS, your only option is to go for an all-in, and Swiper might be trying to do it right now.
He's trying. He's just going to force him back so he can take the health relic for himself.
Snowball.
Snowball is going to just go wide.
Yep.
Nice zigzag from Optimus as he takes his own health relic, and Swiper gets, you know, a brief moment to farm up a little bit, but not a whole lot else he can do. He does get one tongue lash, he does get another auto, but he's eating the culling, and he's gonna have to pop his gray health. Eats him up, but he's ignited! Has to spin him back out! Gray health's on, but the minions are just too strong, and Optimus is dodging and ducking and diving, and that's it! Victory for Southeast Asia.
You can see on Swiper's face that he knew he was done. He realized that the moment he got into that game that there was no hope for him. And at least he had a good time.
The best part about that is it pans immediately to the OPL guys, and they're all just having a giggle.
Yeah.
They've accepted their fate already, and they're just laughing about it. This is fantastic. But 4 victories for Southeast Asia. They now will put themselves in the 3rd seed position going into tomorrow, which means we get to have some fun with the last match.
Yeah, the final game will be, I mean, it should be pretty obvious now. There are only 2 players left to play in this 1v1. But before we get to that, we need to have a backtrack of how this all went down.
God, Swiper's desperate charge.
Like, I'm coming.
I got this.
I will devour you.
That looks like he got a little heartburn.
Wait, he's like, please, no, wait, I made a mistake.
Let the Winians do the job.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, man. Feels bad, man.
This has been a great tournament, Vedius.
Yep. Not so much for the Oceanic players. Yet to get a single win on the board.
Unfortunate for that team, but they, at least they'll have one last hurrah. We'll announce in a minute. I think.
Yes.
Just keep this one hidden. I know
gentleman's agreement. Just do it.
Tryndamere on Tryndamere?
Yeah, Tryndamere on Tryndamere.
Can we think of a weirder? Can we see a sillier matchup?
A sillier matchup. You could do Teemo on Teemo.
Because they can hear us in the back, right?
Blitzcrank on Blitzcrank. Hecarim on Hecarim. You could do a bunch of fun matchups.
Yeah, I think so. But let's go ahead and take a look at our final contestants. Of course, representing OCE, it will be Rosie.
And he will be going up against Ron OP. So can Rosie get at least a small bit of redemption for his Oceanic team?
We'll have to find out. Rosie, again, they put him last. It's not meaningless for them. You want to get a little bit of pride at least, but since there's not much else they can do, they can really only just go out with a bang. We'll see what they decide to pick. I don't know. When you've got two support players, you never know what they're going to pull out.
Yeah.
Well, how about double Bard?
Double Bard, you could do that.
Yeah.
I just really want to see a gentleman's agreement. That's what I really want, Well,
you are a gentleman, so I know why you're partial to it.
Well, that's very kind of you, Pyro.
Yeah.
I do try. I'm lacking my monocle today, unfortunately, and they won't let me wear my top hat on stream. But
no, otherwise they'd have to pan the camera too far up.
Yeah,
it's quite dapper. Just believe me, guys.
It would be really, difficult to wear the headset and everything. So, but
it's all right.
Nevertheless, we are jumping into our final 1v1 of the day.
All right, here we go. Supportal combat. Cassiopeia is the first ban.
All right, so Syndra still up, LeBlanc still available.
They just don't ban anything.
It would take us a while to get through picks and bans.
It would. We would go max timer. But Ron is well on his way.
I mean, that would be fun.
I benched the catch. Okay, quick Caitlyn ban from Rosie.
Right, so CC has been banned. No crowd control is allowed in this game.
Only damage.
Only the damage.
Okay, LeBlanc's banned once again. No surprises. This is all fairly standard. The Rise.
See, now what I really want, really want, right, is for Ron to ban.
Tell me what you want.
Oh, I wanted him to ban Jarvan so it could be TL 4th. I think that would have been...
Wow. Wow, Medius. Okay, all right. I see where your head goes and all of the craziness, but... Did Rosie lock that in? Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He got the Karthus. Okay.
When was the last time we saw a Karthus?
Wait, so if he loses, he never gets to... Because he dies, he never gets to cast his ult.
I don't know. Would he still get the 8 seconds to buy time?
Does he get the 8 seconds and then he loses after that if he doesn't kill his opponent?
I don't know. I don't think he does. I don't think he does.
And he's up against a Thresh, so it is actually an actual support.
All right, Ron, Stone Cold. He is the Deathbringer.
Yes.
The collector of souls, and he has come to collect Karthus early.
Well, does Karthus have a soul?
Yeah, it does. He obviously does, because you see it when he dies.
No, that's just like a shade, really.
I suppose he is a Lich King.
Yeah, Liches don't have souls, so he's like the perfect counter to Thresh.
Well, we're about to find out if he can counter out a Ron's signature champion.
Victory. Not to see who's going to take it here. One last hurrah for Team Ice. Rosie representing up against Ron OP and his Thresh play. We'll see if there's any Mad Life hooks.
I mean...
Doom Zoom.
You could go... No, you can't have Mad Life. There's no Flash.
No, that's right. Yeah, he's Ignite. He's got Ignite at least, so if he goes all in, level 6, hook, flay, box, everything.
Yep. I wonder if he's running Courage of the Colossus. I
mean,
ooh, that would be super cheesy. I mean, I expect Thunderlords. No,
yeah,
it's
Thunderlords. So is the Karthus, too. That's the best part.
Grim Reaper Karthus.
Ooh. Well, he knows the end is near. As we're going to get loaded up onto the Howling Abyss, the Murder Bridge for one last time. Today, the 1v1 begins.
Good luck. Have funds. Have been sent out.
Remember the #1 rule. Don't feed.
So that's where I've been going wrong.
It took me a while to learn that one, too.
So here we go. AD Thresh. I want to see how much... 73 AD. Fair. Reasonable way to start.
That's good, man. He's technically ranged, too.
I have a feeling he's actually running like 80 carry runes. He's actually got 0.65 attack speed, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, I don't know the base attack speed of the Thresh, so I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Looks like Rosie is practicing his lines for his next edition on The Voice Australia.
Yeah. I didn't realize Rosie was the singer type.
Yeah. I didn't either. I just made that up.
Well, there we are. So Ignite Exhaust being used from both support players.
He's not able to get the Qs off. Oh, played back. Sends a few autos flying.
So what we do know is that the farm game surely is not going to be an option for both these players. It's got to be kill.
No, that's the only way to do it. The layaways keeps coming out, but it's not quite enough to finish those minions. There he goes. I kind of miss when it looked like a Skittle, but that's a pretty cool animation now.
It's just a fat Skittle now.
Yeah, full of death. It's a death Skittle.
As opposed to the previous Skittles that were just full of happiness and joy.
Yeah, well, the red ones were obviously the best. There's the flay, level 1. Remember,
he's going for the all-in, he's going.
Oh, they got Thunderlords proccing, exhaust, double exhaust, and they just hold it for a second. Ignite used by Rosie, he's going for it, but Ron.
Oh no, he missed the play!
The lane waits,
Run!
Minions are not enough!
Oh, that was tense, Ron. Playing with our emotions.
Wow. I think that was single-digit health bars.
Yeah, it was. I thought that the minion might have been enough to actually get the kill.
Oh, Rose just... almost.
But Ron didn't use his Ignite, you see. The moment the Ignite came out from Rosie, he thought, right, I'm going to disengage now. But he didn't respect the minion damage that was coming out.
So here's the critical thing. Ron did not use Ignite. So he has the only summoner currently available for the next few minutes. And I'm not even going to talk about CS because screw that. Ron is going to be getting back to base a little bit quicker, or getting back to lane a little bit quicker, rather.
Yeah, Ron actually used his back to buy more health bots.
Yeah, this game ain't going long.
Rosie has gone to go buy himself the Fairy Charm.
Makes sense. You want to get yourself a little bit of mana regen early on, so you can keep on spamming the lay waste. I'm curious if he just maxes that. He does take the Defile, so if they do get into a fight, he turns it on. There we go. Gets his health relic. Point blank hook. There's a big wave here, though. And remember, Ron's got Ignite. He's standing in the lay waste, though. Ron is got down! Victory at last for OCE as Rosie takes revenge.
Ron didn't take a point in his shield. If he had, he might have been able to turn that one around. But instead, he tries to rely on the minion damage to get himself the victory. But we expected a close game, and we got it, Pyro.
Yeah, we did. And we expected a quick game. We definitely got that one. No gentleman's agreement.
No.
But in the end, Karthus was able to take the victory. So Rosie gets one for his team. They get some pride, even if they're out.
Rosie, the hero that Oceania needed. You can see.
Well, he was the unsung hero, so now he gets the song sung about him as Raider gives him a congratulatory bow. Yes.
Well done, Oceania. You took one win.
That was a good one.
I mean, I am British. It's part of, like, we're taught from birth how to curtsy.
Yeah. I'm American, so we're just rude. We don't bow about anything.
Not here. Anyway, that is going to be it for Oceania, unfortunately. We do have that final highlight reel of where Ron tried to make his highlight. I mean, look, hook into that many minions. It should have been his favor. But it's the isolation damage to the Skittles. He stood too far away from the minions, and he just took a little bit too much damage. I think he actually took a tower shot there as well. Oh, no, it was from the passive area.
Ooh.
A little bit of frustration.
It was close. I mean, he had everything going for him. He had the Ignite. He had the minion wave. He had the flay nailed. But, at the end of the day, there was just enough burst, and he stood in too many Skittles. And there's one thing I've learned from childhood is that if you eat too many Skittles, you get sick.
It's true. So, unfortunately for Ron, he is going to be the only defeat on the side of Southeast Asia.
Well, I don't think they'll be too fussed about that because they do move themselves forward 4-1 on the day. Even if they lost at the last, they will be able to take that third seed for Team Fire moving into tomorrow. So that's really great for that team.
And it was a great set of 1 versus 1.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite was definitely Swiffer's.
I'm going to go with Urgot, but that's okay. Anyways, for more on that shootout, Hingers is standing by with Celebrity.
Thank you, Pyro. I am here with ADC for the SEA Team Celebrity, and I want to ask, first of all, how you guys decided the order in which you would come out onto the stage to take your win.
Chúc mừng em trận thắng ha. Thì anh hỏi sơ là em làm cái thứ tự thi đấu như thế nào vậy?
Thì do em đã tự quyết định để người đánh đầu tiên.
So he volunteered to go first, and then the rest fall over.
So you're like a sacrificial lamb in that respect. And in terms of your achievements here at this tournament, are you guys happy? Do you feel like you have done as well as you wanted to?
Thì cái giải này là mình vào vòng trong rồi đó, thì em nghĩ sao là về cái thành quả của mình?
Thì em nghĩ mọi người đã làm hết sức rồi.
Yeah, this is all the best they can do right now, so yeah.
And finally, looking forward to the finals tomorrow. What are you looking forward to in terms of, you've played all the formats now, what are you looking forward to playing again tomorrow?
Thì em đã chơi hết tất cả các thể loại chơi rồi đúng không? Thì cái thể loại nào mà em thích nhất, thể loại mà em muốn chơi nhất?
Thì thể loại em muốn chơi nhất vẫn là cái Summoner Rift.
Yeah, he liked the Summoner Rift one, the normals.
Yeah, cool, excellent. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on your win and going through to the finals. And I'll throw it over to Sifa now to break down those 1v1s.
Thank you very much, Hingers. Of course, This is where the dreams of Oceania die. We have a sad desk, except for me and Mithy. He gets to watch more Summoner's Rift tomorrow, and I get to watch you guys be sad. So overall, we're doing good. But how are you guys feeling after that victory?
Yeah. Hey, they won one game. Come on.
We got Rosie.
We definitely got a win, so you can't be all too sad. In Rosie we trust. Thank you, Rosie, for a win, but
support.
It's a little bit sad.
All right, well, let's start looking through how all of this exactly broke down. We have the first all-in coming in game one, and we'll just kind of run through these as we talk about it. It was just so rough for Radier.
This one was close, though. I think that Radier could have won it if he played it just a bit better. I think Kalista didn't play the matchup as well as should have played it. Yeah.
And we were talking to the Oceanic players, you know, as Radier took the stage, and apparently Radier has some PTSD about facing across from celebrities, a bit afraid of him, so as soon as he saw who he's across from, he's like, no!
Of course, coming into game two, one of the few matches where we didn't see Kalista. Carbon's controversial strategy. This isn't the all-in replay, ladies and gentlemen. This is the, I'm going to cleanse. I don't know what I'm going to cleanse.
Nothing.
But I'm going to cleanse it.
And so he cleansed himself at the worst possible time.
We cut it too early. That was also the crazy one where they get the relic back up.
Oh, that's way later in. I thought we could just, honestly, I just thought we could burn Carbon a little bit. Sorry, Carbon.
The famous fat finger. Happens to everyone.
True. But of course, that one, hope was not dead yet. We're like, all right, 2 down. This is looking rough, but we got 3 strong mechanical players coming in. And Swiffer, he was supposed to be the promised one. He had the win. He had the setup.
Oh my God, how could he lose this one?
He had everything.
Mithy, run us through exactly why this happened or what he should have been doing here.
Well, I think right before this, he could have just based for tier 2 boots, and then the matchup was just straightforward. He had the range advantage, attack speed advantage, and he should have just played it like he was playing it before. And I think level 1, the one mistake I would like to point out is that I think he should have just started E-level 1, so he cannot get all-in at any point in the game, and he always has pressure over the Kalista. But yeah.
On the other side, though, huge props to Levy. Levy is such a talented mechanical player, even though he is the jungler coming into that. I mean, on the Kalista, not necessarily as showcased, although Southeast Asia seemed to show a lot of favoritism towards that Kalista, banning it and picking it several times throughout the course of the 1v1.
I think the Kalista pick is good, but when Caitlyn is open, I think just insta-locking it, like, he felt really confident on the champion, but I think that Caitlyn has the favorable matchup there.
Well, do we think we will see much Kalista at all tomorrow? It seemed okay to me. It seemed somewhat effective. Is it? I
mean, theoretically, you can understand it. You know, she's really good at dueling. She's a ranged champion. She has execute potential. But like, I do agree with Mithy. But it's obviously at least this region seems to prioritize the champion.
Absolutely. Well, because of Southeast Asia's victory, Latin America South have sealed the #1 spot in Team Ice and will be advancing in tomorrow's bracket. Hingers is standing by with Plugos to get his thoughts.
Thank you, Sifa. All right, first of all, congratulations for getting through. And I want to ask what it was like to sit in that room and watch these two teams battle it out to decide your fate.
Like, we knew it was very important for us, these games. So we were like cheering so hard for the GPO. We played against them the first day and we knew that they were good. So we were very confident that they could beat Oceania.
And now, between now and the finals, or tomorrow, I should say, what are you guys going to do to prep? What's your training regimen going to be like?
I think we'll have scrims, maybe. We'll try to improve our assassins and maybe 1v1. But I think the normal game is the most strong of us. So nothing more than practicing the assassins that we just suck with that. But
and now that you've played all 3 game types, what is your favorite one? Which one have you enjoyed the most?
The one for all was very, very fun to play. Like being there in the tower and you have to evade like 5 Ezreal ultimates and you are there with Corky jumping with the ultra package and doing fun stuff. It was just very fun to play.
Excellent. So much. Cool. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to throw it back to you, Sifa, right now to break down what we just heard.
Thank you very much, Hingers. Our 3 days of madness finally over. Mithy, I know, one for all, fun to watch, but you're just excited to get back to Summoner's Rift.
Yes, please, yes.
Let's take an opportunity to look at those final standings for Team Fire and Team Ice. Team Fire, of course, Turkey coming in on that #1 seed, Japan in second, and Southeast Asia just barely able to get that, taking it over Brazil.
I think it's safe to say Brazil being 4th is the biggest surprise of all here. Japan looked fantastic, but Brazil last. What a shock.
I mean, it's such a sad thing that the team that get disqualified went 3-1 and just lost only 1 game.
It's the difference of 1v1s, man.
But the difference between Fire and Ice, that's the main thing.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I think no one expected Ice to be this, this down and out, but we see Latin America South are able to clinch it in the end. A 1-3 record may not seem impressive, but they are able to beat out every other team in their group. and thus qualify into the next stage.
Yeah, and if Japan are a surprise on the other side, Latin America South really need to sing their praises, especially in that 80 carry position, and Wara showing up on, they built the 5v5 Vayne comp around him. He did fabulous in the 1v1s, and he also did fabulous in the assassin mode, despite the fact that they did win it. You know, he was proving he was the real Corki on the Rift, so huge props to that guy, because he's pretty much here by proxy vote.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, good to show up. Maybe you're going to pretty much set to build a massive fan base. You weren't the guy who was supposed to be here, but you're the guy who earned the spot.
Hey, proxy vote.
Hey,
proxy nothing wrong with proxy vote.
Hey, man, you get there. Now we take a chance, though, to look at the bracket. You can see Japan coming in as the first seed will be matched up against Latin America South, or rather, as the second seed will be matched up against Latin America South, and Turkey as the first seed will be matched up to third seed of Fire, which is, of course, Southeast Asia.
Yeah, that's really cool. The two surprising teams, Japan and Latin America South, opening us up, and then you have kind of the two mechanical heavyweights in Turkey and Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I just don't really see many ways to get through Turkey. From the limited stuff that we have seen from this team, they look completely unbeatable, to be honest.
Well, the thing that we do have to remember is that, you know, while it is a bracket stage, while there's a lot on the line, we do have to keep the mayhem rolling. So for these best of threes, they're a little special, and I think a little going to be interesting to see exactly how they work out.
Special.
But keep in mind, this is exactly what I mean. First match, Summoner's Rift. The second match will be Assassin's Mode, and if it's a 1-1 tied series, we will move into a best-of-5 1v1 to close it out. So 1v1 skills could be everything, as with competency on Assassins. However, that's going to bring us to the end of Day 3 of the International Wildcard All-Stars. Join us tomorrow for Championship Sunday when we find out who will be joining us next week at All-Stars. That's at 1 p.m. Central Eastern Time, 4 a.m. Pacific. See you then.
Proxy vote.
Q's going to come out and deal quite a bit of damage down on over
the
towards
ultimate.
There's the ultimate. There's the kill. He's taking turret damage. Celebrity. Just not quite enough, and it's a double kill for Saya. He gets kicked twice. The Zor's inside the pit. He gets executed as well. Oh, he's going to use the heal. He's been ignited. Levy picks up the kill. Evan RL, he's out of mana, and they're just going to be able to take him down for the double kill. Rosie's now getting over the wall to see if he can help him out. The last shift's going through. The rubber hands are there. Revolta is unstoppable. You can see Swiffer has his hands in his head. Radiant's been jumped on by two of the experiments. They're trying to bounce. The flash! Radiant! He jukes him again! He sniffs trouble.
Which is impossible as Corkies. You know what?
Here comes the ultimate. Demacia Lex hits the floor. There is no escaping from this Japanese jungle. That's a big knuckle onto three, but that's cancelled. Cataclysms go in. And Zeros finds a kill onto Smurf. This is a complete disaster for the Samurai lineup. He's exhausted, he's ignited, but there's so many spares, and it's first blood!
He failed the rend fire. That was a big problem.
Oh! Are you kidding me? He's standing in the lane. Waste Run! He's gone down! Victory at last for OCE as Rosie